My name is James Cleary. I grew up in Northwest Hills when I was young, and then I left for college and law school, and then came back in about the end of 2019 and been here ever since. Yeah, I think when I was thinking about it, the thing that really came to my mind is that when you press into God, God presses into you. And I noticed it in so many different phases, but the most recent one is actually a story of my brother-in-law Ellis, who's probably sitting in the pews now. The first time we met, he was at my house, and somehow he asked me the question, why do you believe what you believe? And he was coming from a position of, I would call him a devout atheist at that point. And he wanted to know why I believed what I believed. And ironically, I had been studying apologetics, which for those that don't know is basically the study of why we believe what we believe, of the Christian faith for probably 2 to 3 years, just really digging into it to really make that a firm foundation for me. And I shared some resources and gave probably a 20-minute speech on why I believe what I believe, and he left that conversation with resources and things to think about. And then God, of course, worked in his life, and like I said, now he's here, and he's a believer now, which that was 2 months ago. It happened like that, but God really put me in a position to use the things that I was interested in to make a difference in somebody else's life, and ultimately make a difference in my family's life now. Yeah, I think the big takeaway from my perspective is, okay, we had this, or I went on this journey to learn more really for myself foundationally, but ultimately God used it for a bigger purpose, right? And I had no idea that was going to happen. I had no idea that he'd be curious and want to ask those questions, right? But God obviously moved in his heart to ask the questions, and while putting me in that position to be ready for that conversation. And I think that it's one of those situations where if you're seeking the Lord to, even in areas that you want to improve, the Lord's going to work with you, right? To press in, and God calls us to ask for the things that we want in our life. And it's not always going to be a yes, obviously, but it could be a no but, right? And I think that if we're asking for the changes that we want to see, and trying to live life in accordance of how we're asked to live, God's going to reward that, right? And yes, God knows what you want, but he also encourages to ask for it in prayer for a reason, right? And I think I would just encourage people to do that and see how God works in their own life as well.